So it's Monday, day after Donington. Sam's finished work, got back, unloaded the pickup out the coach, had a bit of a swap around. He's put the grey pickup that I fetched from Seb's into Brad's unit temporarily because we want to put my race pickup in my unit, and he's trying to get his Clio ready for Friday because he's supposed to be doing a track day on Friday. So we're waiting for the gearbox, and I bought him suspension for it. So what he's doing is he's just blowing all the dirt off from the gravel, getting all the gravel out of it, ready for taking it apart and rebuilding it. So at the minute it's at a funny angle. In fact, that's kind of the angle it felt like when I was in the gravel.
Is that a funny angle?
So the next thing to do once it's clean is to get it in the workshop and take the panels off it. I think Sweet's going to paint the front bumper for me. I've got to make my mind up whether I'm taking the engine out ready for Snetterton. There's some graphics that I want to change about a little bit on it. But yeah, it's all good. Right, so it's the first bit after the racing vlog. First job that I've got in is to finish the RS Turbo, which I'll show you. I've also had a few people give me some advice on the GoPro, which I've just tried one of the settings. So this is a quick video also to see if the flickering has calmed down. This is the CV8 cylinder head, which I've had to weld slightly here because this waterway had broke through virtually to the combustion chamber. So I've welded it, refaced it, cut the seats. I've put bronze thin wall guides in the exhaust, so that's ready to go into the wash. While that's washing, I've also had a tractor cylinder head turn up for re-grinding the valves into the cylinder head. Might need the seats cutting and the valves refacing, but I've taken the valve springs off and the valves are in quite oily condition, so I'm going to take them out, give them a clean, see what we're up against. I mean, that one there won't. Okay, so the exhaust is seized up. Right, so I need to free off the exhaust. Only two of the inlets are moving, and there's a burr on the top of that one. So although relatively an easy job of just grinding valves in, it's going to be a bit more awkward because I'm going to have to deburr them, get them all moving and make sure that they're fit to go again. Another job that I'm going to do today, which I'll record, is a motorbike barrel, which somebody has supplied a piston and he thinks that the piston to bore clearance is wrong. So I'm going to measure the piston, measure the bore, and then hone to correct that if it needs it. And then for a local garage, I'm finishing off this cylinder head that come in with one broken valve, so I'll get that one sorted too. A bit of a rundown from the racing at the weekend. Wasn't very good at all. Qualifying, I could smell oil in the first part, so I come in, nothing wrong with it. They lost the clutch trying to get back out onto the circuit. The boys pushed me to get me going. Completed the second part of the qualifying and qualified 11th out of 20 or 21, I can't remember. That night we took the gearbox out, fixed the clutch problem. It was the release bearing that had melted. There's a plastic part of the release bearing, and the heat from the car had caused that to melt, making me lose the clutch. So we repaired that. I think we must have missed a bracket or something then, putting the exhaust back together, because in the first race, as soon as I come onto the straight to go underneath the green flag, I put the foot down and the exhaust popped off, and it lost a bit of back pressure, and it felt like it had lost a bit of power, and it got very hot in there. So I did 4 or 5 laps, can't remember, 4 laps, and then come in to see if we could just quickly get the exhaust back on, but it was, the heat in there was too much really. So that was race 1. In race 2 there was a meeting about driving standards and everything on the Saturday, and in race 2 a certain car, I'm not saying the number, but took off and was driving. Parcels turning up. Don't actually remember where I got to. Yeah, at the beginning of race 2, one of the cars that was in the same meeting as what I was, where we was told that the race wasn't going to be won on the first lap. Made a start, was going down Craner curves and was just all over the track really, quite loose. There was the pole car had a half spin coming out of the old hairpin at Donington, so cars was going everywhere. I went round the outside of the one that was just loose anyway, and then another car come behind me, tapped my rear quarter. He went on the grass to try and go around the outside of me, which we run slicks and they had no temperature in them. The grass was damp. Why he ever thought he was going to be able to overtake another car with 2 wheels on the grass just boggles me when I think about it really. But anyway, he took to the grass to try and get by me, lost control, hit the back end of my car which sent the back end of my car into the car that I was overtaking, and we all spun off. Unfortunately for me, I ended up in the gravel. It ripped the dry sump belt off, ripped the crankshaft position sensor off, so the engine stalled, and that was the end of my race. We'll move on from it. We're doing Sam's car now to get him out for his track day, so suspension, gearbox. His track day's on Friday and he's got a race on Monday. So what I need to do now is just get that sorted, get this work done, get some money in the bank. We've got some things happening with the unit which I'll show you hopefully this week if the people turn up. If not, it'll be next week. Yeah, and that's it. We'll continue working away. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe please as well. All it means is you get notifications when the new videos are out, but it really helps us and helps me keep making the content. So if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the button and subscribe. If you have subscribed and you do watch, then I just want to say thank you for that as well. So awesome. Cheers guys and girls. So on the tractor cylinder head, the valves was seized in, a bit rusty, but also one thing I just thought I would show is these inlet valves. I don't know how well the GoPro's picking it up, but basically they've started to pull through the seat. There's a slight radius on the seat, but also this edge here is quite sharp, so when I reface that valve it will be sharp, and as soon as that happens, I mean it's sharp then now, but as soon as they go sharp like that, the valve is scrap. So he needs a new set of inlet valves. And then the other thing is, if the camera's picking it up, is the carbon inside the exhaust port in particular. I mean, it's blocking the back part of the port. It would have to probably stay in the acid for a month to remove all that. It's not come in for me to remove that. It's not come in to be cleaned, skimmed. It's only come in for the valves to be reseated. But I'm just gonna scrape some of this out. I just don't like it really, so I'm going to get that out. I'm going to hone the guide to get the rust out of it, and then I'm just going to put a basic 45-degree seat, no trick 3 angles or anything like that. It's like I say, it's a 1954 tractor. So yeah, so I'll cut the seat. I'm going to scrape the carbon out of it as best as I can, grind the valves in. The customer's going to supply new inlet valves, so I'll cut the seat, and then he shouldn't even really need to grind them in. The Myra Centronic is so accurate that normally, I mean I always grind them in, but normally when you vac test them anyway, they are pretty much perfect. So I'll switch that machine on and get these sorted out. In fact, the carbon's that bad, it's even made like its own guide in the carbon. It's come right up there, so yeah, not brilliant. So I'm gonna show a close-up of this seat being cut, because this come in just to really have the valves ground in, but after looking at the head I could see that it was a little bit worse for wear. So what I thought I'd do was just video or record the seat to show how distorted it is. So if I just self-centralise the Centronic at the moment into the seat, and I'll try and do it slowly so it can see the seat being cut. I'll turn the speed down on the Centronic. And then if I get it so it cuts just on one side. It's very slow, a bit more speed. That's 60 revs per minute. So that's just getting rid of the lip where it's pulled through, it's caused. There we go. Right, if I just try and move that away from there. I don't know if the GoPro has picked it up, but if I just grab a magnet. If you can see here, it started to cut the seat there. But then if we look around here, look, it hasn't touched the seat. So okay, grinding the valve in, you probably would have eventually got it to ground in, but it would have never have been right. So it's always good to cut the seat, because when you cut the seat you are re-centralising the seat to the guide, and the valve is installed into the guide. So that's the most important part. But I've put the speed of the machine back up now, so if I carry on cutting, see it's cutting heavy there, it's still not cutting on the seat. I don't know if it's picking that up. It's coming around now, and that's it there. That has just done all of the seat. So that just goes to show how badly distorted either other seat cutters can do a seat, or time, the time you could just wear it on one side. But it's all good now. That's the exhaust valves all ground in. I haven't ground the inlet valves in yet because he hasn't dropped the new ones off, so I'm going to give it a quick jet wash off out the back, and then I'm going to put the exhaust valves back in, and then I think he might even put the inlet valves in himself. So that's another job done, all good. So we're on our way to Sam's second track day. Sam and his mates, amazingly, in a couple of days got his car back together. That's the new gearbox, which was built by Competition Transmission Services. Bernie there has done a wicked job of that, so he's now got a gripper diff. We've got him new coilover suspension for it, because it was running on some old Spax adjustables that wouldn't adjust anymore, so I bought him some new suspension for it. He's gone up in the coach, so I'm in the transit behind him. There's the coach. Convoy to Combe. I've taken the transit just in case I need to pop out and get any bits, because he was working on the car till 1 o'clock last night, so just in case anything happens to it, I've got the van and I can shoot around and grab stuff for him. But I'm going to see if he'll I'll see if he'll put the camera in for some of his sessions as well, see how he gets on. I think the last time he was there he did I think it was a 1:21, so We're hoping that with the new gearbox and diff and the new suspension, he gets down to the late 118s. I think that's the goal for today. So ears open. First stop is to grab some diesel. And they've only got the deer stuff. Oh no. Should see Sam come in a minute because I think he's stopping for a drop of diesel too. £1.65 a litre. Oh my. Not cheap.
Handbrake off. Gone.
Roll it back, driver. So we're going out for the first time. We're going to have to adjust this front wheel because it's got too much camber on it at the moment, but because the gearbox and everything's brand new, he's going to go and just do a couple of laps to try and bed it all in relatively steady. So he's just checked his wheel nuts, he's done his tyre pressures, we've recorded a bit of data.
Is airing on? All good?
No good. So Sam's out for his first lap. We haven't, we're not timing him or anything at the moment. We're just making sure that his gearbox is good. He's going to do 5 or 6 laps, then come in and we're going to go through the suspension on it. The worrying thing is he's not round yet.
Stand a bit further up that fence and stuff.
Yeah, that fence is in the way.
There he is. Well, Sam. He's just doing a couple of steady. He's just doing a couple of steady laps at the moment because it's been a major rush rebuild. He just had no throttle, but we've not really fixed anything. Just jiggled all the wires, and his throttle seems to be working now. So I think he's going to do 4 or 5 laps steady, and then start to put his foot down a bit with a bit of luck. So Sam's going out for his second go. We've adjusted this front corner. So we'll see how he gets on this time. I think it's going to stay out for a bit longer this time. It's got a clunk from the front which we can't really see at the moment. We think it might be a drive shaft, but there's the volinator. There's the volinator.
Flat out.
In Civics today. There's one of them. Columbi! Hiya! So here comes Sam on his out lap. Hopefully bringing it all up to temperature nice and neat. There he is. Car sounds really nice actually. Car sounds really nice actually. And it looks like the 2 Civics have gone out as well, James and Kyle's, which are both local boys.
Hello.
Get some speed up now. Go on, Sam.
379. Obviously this is not accurate.
Here he is.
It's gonna be a close one.
Come on, Sambo. So Sam's coming in after his second session. Don't know if it's a happy Sam or not so happy Sam. We got a thumbs up, so it could be a happy Sam. Fed does it.
Oh, sorry, more.
And if we've got a longer bolt. So Sam just, no I didn't. Sam's just doing the, Sam and James are just going to bleed the brakes. He's coming in with a spongy pedal. There's a bolt missing out of the engine mount, so we've put one in there. And then the threads have gone in that one, but that's the wrong bolt. That bolt's too short. So I'm going to try and find a longer bolt for that. I think it's that one. I think it's that one, mate.
Take your helmet off the roof, you know. Okay. Take your helmet off the roof, you know.
Have you got 16 left now?
Fine. So Sam's come back in and he's got a gearbox oil leak by the looks of things. So I'm gonna have to speak to Bernie about that, but he's well happy with the way the gearbox is and the diff. He says that it's completely transformed the way the car drives, so little oil leaks we can manage as long as he's happy with the car. So I'll speak to Bernie about that and see if we can get it back in to fix the leak. Good, Sam? You ready, mate?
Yep. I might go grab a beer from the fridge.
So this is session number 3. We've come in, we've bled the brakes, the front brakes are red hot. We've adjusted the clicks on the shockers, and he's going to go out now just before lunch just to see what difference that makes. Well, so that's the end of the 4th session. How'd you get on, Sam?
It's good. It handles well. Just killed the brakes. Smoky.
Oh yeah. Oh no, look at the smoke coming off there.
The McGann's gone over, Sam. We popped another.
So he's been out and done a, I don't know, probably 8 laps, but he's come back in. The brakes are destroyed, in all fairness. Front brakes are absolutely red hot.
We need to get some metal cable ties.
And we need to do something about this bumper.
I heard the bumper go.
We're running low.
But he's happy with the handling. Do you want to adjust the handling any?
It pushes a little bit now.
What, even when you load it up? So Sam's done all the work, or the boys have done all the work on Sam's car, ready to get him back out for the last session, but somebody's gone off and destroyed part of the armour coat. So Castle Combe scrutineer or officials just come up and said that the day's cut short at 3:20 because of that. So he's just made big changes to the car, put Brad's spare wheels on, and can't get to test them. So it's a bit of a bugger, really. How do you feel about that, Sam?
That's it. Might drive it home.
Drive it home, I dare you.
Double down it, right?
No, I don't double dare you, because I'll have to drive the coach.
I'll drive the coach.
I'll drive it front.
You want to drive the coach?
Hey, I'll drive the
You
coach.
want to drive the coach?
Yeah, he might be written
No
off by the time
way.
we get it back.
So that's it, Castle Combe testing over for Sam. Didn't do as many laps as what he wanted. We made a major change for the car, but then I believe a Peugeot 205 drove off the circuit and damaged the track beyond repair. But Sam's at least done, I don't know, he must have done probably 25-30 laps. We know no real damage, a few bits come loose, but that's all to be expected really, with the car just going back together. But it's all sorted. He's all booked in now, ready to race on Monday. He chose to enter that, so we've just been and paid for that. So we'll see how he gets on, but it should be fine. He's got all the bits and bobs done to it. So yeah, all in all, a pretty good outing. He didn't damage it, which is even better. So it's Saturday and Brad and Sam are both doing a race on Monday. Brad's got a bit of brake wobble, so I've refaced his discs for him. Sam had no front brakes, he cooked them quite bad and we can only get standard pads, but Zach at Quad Graphics has kindly sponsored him some racing brake pads called
WinMax W5.
what?
WinMax W5.
WinMax W5s. So big thanks to Zach at Quad Graphics for that. He's also got him some new Dureza tyres as sponsorship, and then Brad at VJT's done loads, and then obviously James at Jay's Automotive, who is basically, he's sponsoring me as well next year for the coach. So I'm getting sponsorship for the coach, and he's sponsored Sam loads. So he's a good old boy. shedding the brakes at the minute a little bit because on Monday he's not really going to have time. That's the person that's bought him the brakes and the tyres. Thank you, Zach.
It's alright, no problem.
So Sam's been on his car all day and I've just heard the little pit bike fire up, so I think he's playing on that.